Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Professional Experts Podcast. Look at your screen. You can see two folks right now, both of whom are central to the Certified Professional Expert category. I'm the creator of it, and the recipient, number 13, by choice, by the way, he preferred that number, is Erik Swanson. Mr. Awesome is his tagline. Erik, welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you, Jim. Appreciate being here. This is amazing. Thank you. Such an honor.
You betcha. Well, what I want to do today is I want just the two of us to chat about how we approach our businesses. Okay. And as you know, I've been a professional speaker, a keynoter primarily for, well, better part of 48 years.
I thought
And
it was more like 148 years.
yeah, so the
Yeah.
first millennium that I was speaking, it was as a keynoter. So everything I did was around packaging me as a keynote speaker. Well, I got 3,500 engagements and toured the entire world. And I still do, but not nearly at the rate I used to do it, meaning frequency. And so that worked for a generation. But then we went through 9/11 and the world changed. We went through COVID and the world changed again. And at the top of COVID, when I moved from California to here in Austin, Texas, I also changed my business model from professional speaker and author. And I've now got 27 books, some of which are co authored with you. Um, from that to being a mentor. And so did a lot of my colleagues. They said, well, yeah, I'm a mentor too. I'm a coach, I'm a whatever. Yeah, but I decided to do it very surgically. I decided I'm not just going to start coaching people. I could do that, but that's not what I want to do. What I want to do is I want to coach people who do what you and I do, people who are experts in a particular field. Ours is the field of motivation, self development, business success. And they are building their business around their expertise. So their business is, in fact, expert based. So is expertise something that, if you're practicing it professionally, can be isolated, defined, trained, and certified? Turns out it can. And it took me the better part of a year with a lot of research built on my certified speaking professional research for NSA to come up with a model that worked for professional experts, coaches, consultants, podcasters, authors, specialists, advisors, people like that. And so I started awarding those in 2021. And we now have 25 people who've been certified. Nito Kubain, yourself, Tony Alessandra, Patricia Fripp, Brian Tracy, Les Brown, just to name a few. And so it's a pretty prestigious bunch of folks. And I want others to learn from us. How do you approach something like this? And here's
Mm.
what I've noticed about you. I mean, besides your uniqueness, your brand as a person, you are a explosion of light. You are Mr. Awesome. And then you carry a lot more energy than 99% of the people out there. And so people want to be around you because you're joyful, because you're optimistic and you're growth oriented. But what they don't see that I know is there is you're also a committed professional.
Mm.
When I went to Barnes and Noble in Oceanside, and we were doing the book release for that book behind you, The 13 Steps to Riches, the edition on auto suggestion that you and I co-authored. When we were doing that, I saw a man, Erik Swanson, who was totally on top of that event. You were saying to everybody, hey, come here. Look, we got to be respectful of the proprietor here, Barnes and Noble. It's a privilege to be here. It's not just our party. And here are the guidelines, and we've got to do this and that and that. And you made it really clear to us, hey kids, we're not on the playground. We're in class, and this test is going on your permanent record, right? So that I admire. And
Mm.
I want to let you talk for a moment about what you're doing and how you think about it, but then I want to go back and kind of retrace your path from the days of like selling tickets for Brian Tracy or things like that to the way your business model is structured today.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, I love it. We can go back as far as when I was born. I turned to the doctor and I literally slapped him. So, first off, what an honor to be here. I appreciate this. And you know what's such a blessing about this is it's just a conversation. It's a conversation with two experts in their fields, helping other experts in their fields, which I
Yep.
really love. So I appreciate that, and I honor you, and I appreciate you big time. You might see one of my dogs right behind
Yes, I
me.
do. Yeah. Yeah, I took
That's
a moment to introduce your staff, right?
sure. That's one of my assistants. His name is Louis. He works for treats. It's great. Just one treat a day. It's really inexpensive. And the other gentleman's apparently taking a nap. He's off today. So let's see. What was the question? Addressing what you were talking about a second ago, I love what you just said. And thank you very much, Jim, for just honoring me with that gift of what you just said to me. Because, I'm hearing that a lot lately. It's interesting. It's for me, my personality and so forth. A lot of people see the fun, like rock and roll, because I am. And I
Sure.
do. I get out there and I like to have a fun time. When I walk into
Living loud.
yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
In a calculating way, like I like to have fun. Like when I walk into Starbucks or
No,
wherever
pause
I'm,
for a second. In a
yeah,
calculated way, folks, that's a keeper note. In a calculated way means Erik is intentional about being Erik out loud. And you went into a Starbucks and what were
oh,
you?
Eric out loud. I'm going to get that website. That's a good one. I have 242 websites right now, URLs that go to my websites. Um, and I'll tell you more about that later in a
Okay.
business talk in a second. So it's a great opportunity. So I'll let you know about that. I mean, great opportunity for your listeners to do the same thing I'm doing.
Yeah.
So, in a calculating way. So I do things intentionally. So if I go into a Starbucks or if I go in wherever, doesn't matter, I'm going to have a great day. I have a choice, either have a great day or, complain like everyone else in the world seems to do. So I'm going to go in and be like, hey, what's going on? I'm opening the door, by the way, for everyone pretty much anyone who walks in. Okay. And they think I'm like, I work there, but I don't. Now they see me on the way out. They're like, wait, the guy's in line. He doesn't even work here. So now calculatingly, they've noticed me, which is great. Isn't it cool to be able to be an expert in your field, but also get noticed like who you
Yes.
are, right?
Yep.
So there's always reasons for doing
Well,
so.
plus you're the brand.
Right.
When you think about it, I mean, it's not Mr. Awesome that's the brand, it's Erik Swanson's the brand. Jim Cathcart's the brand. They say, no, you're the acorn. No, the acorn is a metaphor for growth, the
Right.
seed of potential, and that's my logo. But I'm the brand.
You are the brand.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Exactly. So and people see, I just had another person. This is so apropos because I wanted to say the word apropos to sound smart. Anyway, this is so apropos. I don't even know how to spell it. But the point the point is though, just yesterday, another top name speaker, such as yourself, Jim, was complimenting me. I was like, wow, this is amazing. He said something to the fact, he left me a voice recording, and it said something like, Erik, I really love surrounding myself with you and what you're doing in business. I totally want to partner with you on this new mastermind you have because you're, how did he say it? You're very fly the seat of the pants kind of style, but you strategically take care of business at the same time. And I thought that was kind of cool. And that's the way he interpreted it. And that's the way I intentionally do live my life, and do this because I want people to
I want to interrupt just briefly. Uh, the fly by the seat of the pants thing, that's from the outside looking in.
exactly.
The inside looking out, what you're doing is making room to be spontaneous. That's a big difference. When someone's flying by the seat of their pants, that means wherever the seat of their pants is pulled, that's where they're going.
Right.
It's kind of like you get on a bicycle, head down a hill, and you don't grab the handlebars.
Right.
Hello, there's a wreck in your future. But when you are leaving room for spontaneity, then you allow yourself to have a little creative moment, like you go hold the door for people. Like I went in with Tony Alessandra 1,000 years ago in Virginia. We were at Friendly's Ice Cream, and we went there for breakfast, and the service was horrible. Usually it's good, but that nobody was attending to the guests.
Right.
And so we're sitting there at the table thinking, surely they'll come before lunch and take our order. And a couple of women came to the front door, and I looked around, didn't see any servers, so I jumped up and grabbed two menus. I walked over to the door. I said, "Good morning, welcome to Friendly's. First time here?" "No, we've been here before." "Well, welcome back. Would you
That's right.
prefer a booth or the counter?" "Well, let's go to a booth." And I took him back to a booth. I said, "Your server will be with you in a little bit." And I went back and sat down with Tony, and he's just rolling his eyes. But
You
that's,
probably you probably added, I hope,
I
at the
know,
end. Your
but
server will be here
I
too.
can so
I hope.
totally see you doing that same thing.
Oh, I do that all the time.
Yeah.
I do that all the time. In fact, what what I do is I I I love joking around. Okay, so
Mhm.
I'm in a place wherever it is, and I was in Verizon wireless store the other day, and someone's coming in, and I see them. I go, "Hi, welcome to Verizon Wireless." I look at the sign and they know what I'm doing. I'm like, "Come
Sure.
on in. Everything's." I always say like everything's half off, but you got to buy two of them. And they're like, "Wait, what?"
Hmm.
And it's just fun. It breaks the ice and so forth. But what's interesting also is I do it calculatingly, the fly by the seat of the pants. That was an interesting way he said that. I think he means like also I get this compliment a lot as well. Like, man, you do things right away and you're spontaneous and
Yes.
you just decide to do this and boom, it's already the website's
Do it
up and
now.
you've got members and people are signing up, people are flying different places. Little do people know, I calculatingly set all of that up. So it's not just opening up the space for spontaneity, like you mentioned. It's actually a strategy I do so that people are looking at it going, it's so easy for him. Yet they don't see,
Yeah.
the practice all the way Monday through Saturday, and then Sunday's the Super Bowl or the
Hmm.
football game. They don't see the practices leading up to game day. So it's interesting. And if you can
That's
make
the
it
old,
anyway, it's
Muhammad
interesting.
Ali said the fights aren't won in the ring. They're won
Right.
in the gym.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
they're
right.
just made official in the ring. Yeah.
Yeah. And I love Jim Rohn talking about you can't pay other people to do your push-ups for you. You have to do your own push-ups, right? It's interesting.
Exactly.
So
Well, when you look at your business, how many things are you looking at? You've got so many moving parts like masterminds and book collaborations and so forth. How many things are on the radar screen currently?
thanks for asking that. So I use the Sir Richard Branson theory. So I have about 6 or 7 different entities and companies going on at the same time, yet I focus in on 3 of them and 3 things during the day that lead directly to those 3. That's all I do. So it's 33 is my favorite
Yeah.
number. So 3 things every day that leads to 3 of my focuses, my companies. So at any given time, I have anywhere from 3 to 7 big items going on, but
Pipeline.
3 of them are being focused on at all times.
And what are those three?
So those 3 are my Habitude Warrior Masterminds, which
Mhm.
is it has about 3 entities within the masterminds. One is the Intimate Habitude Warrior Mastermind. The other one is the oh, thank you. I just check marked myself. Look at that. Look at that.
Wow.
So no, it's pretty cool.
Wow.
I wonder if I could do the hearts. Check this out. Ready? Let's do the hearts again. Right? There we go.
Son of a
Boom.
gun. Hey, I like that.
It's magic.
Yeah.
So the first one is the Habitude Warrior Mastermind. The second mastermind we have is Global Speakers Mastermind, where I bring in top name amazing celebrities and experts in their fields, such as Jim Cathcart and
Mhm.
many others, such as my main mentor Brian Tracy, and from Sharon Lechter to Les Brown, you name it, everybody. Scott McCain. We were talking about him earlier.
Dennis Whiteley.
Uh,
Yep.
it's all of my Tony Alessandro we had on recently. He's amazing, and
Excellent.
yeah, he's what a great individual, great human. And we also have something called Cafe Mastermind, where we read and review and mastermind over one of the number one best-selling books that's out
Now,
there in the market.
is
Yeah,
Mastermind one of the three?
those are
Got
so we have
three
master
types of
exactly,
masterminds in the mastermind silo,
exactly.
so to speak.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
We're actually adding 2 more masterminds. One's going to be a breathwork mastermind. So it's all going to be, it's Breathe 33 is what it's called. So it's all about bringing in people once a week to really start their whole week off in the best possible way.
Good.
And I bring in breathwork experts there to assist us. It's beautiful.
Inspiring.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's all breathwork all through here through Zoom. And then the other one that we're we're just launching because I want to get out there and play. It's called the Adventure Mastermind. And that simply is I pick a place. Like today I just got off, I told you earlier, I was just mountain biking down. Like you should see my home. I'm in my home right now in the mountains. And I like to be off the grid. So I'm
Yeah.
in Utah. And right now I'm looking out in front of me past the camera right now. There's a 360 view of mountains everywhere. So what I do is I climb the mountain, I go to the top. I could take a helicopter up top, but I don't. I literally get shuttled up to the top, and we put on, major helmets and
Hmm.
jump on my mountain bikes. I have 20 mountain bikes right now. It's crazy, and then we hold on for dear life and go down
Yeah.
the mountain. So we're doing adventure masterminds where one day is going to be all on masterminding in a certain place. We'll have a nice lunch and chill out for the whole day and really learn. And then the next day we just survive through whatever adventure it is. So those are the masterminds.
Now, people, what are the various price levels
Mm,
that you've structured this at? Because I
mm.
know that, the cafe, that's simply reading a book together and going, taking that inspiration in and building on it. So that's pretty simple. Adventure Mastermind, that's pretty complex because you got to commit to being there. And then you look at your other, like Habitude Warrior, and let me pause. Habit, attitude, habitude. Habitude Warrior is your trademark, and that's got its own pathway. And you hold events, and I've been on that, and you do coaching with people and a number of other things. So how do you structure pricing entry points for people?
Yeah, so basically what we do is, I mean, I'll just give you the broad strokes. It's 20,000 for the year for my mastermind, for the Habitude Warrior Mastermind.
Yeah.
And then we have different price structures for, like you said, the Cafe Mastermind's only 250 a month to be part of it. And by the way, I'll take your credit card, whoever's listening, just go ahead and jot it down now. I'm just kidding. And then let's see, the Adventure Mastermind, that's what we're doing there is we're bringing in only 10 people to join us for that weekend. So it's quick, it's easy, just fly into a different city. Like one Adventure Mastermind, I'll give you another example. I just added this morning to the Adventure Masterminds. We're going to do a San Francisco trip. Now, I used to live in San Francisco in the Bay Area
Hmm.
in city, and I love the restaurants, love it. And one day, this rich family, okay, the Aliotto family, they were the mayor and so forth.
Yeah,
The
I
whole,
know the
I
name.
was
I know the
okay. So
small.
I was best friends with Adolfo Veronese and Aliotto. He was one of the sons. Anyway, he's like, "Hey Eric, come on." I was 20 years old. I was 19, something like that. He goes, "Eric, come on. We're meeting at 9 o'clock. We're gonna go get some breakfast and so forth." I'm like, "All right." He goes, "Clear out the whole day." I go, "Okay." So they picked me up in a nice Rolls Royce or Bentley or something like that. There were like six of us, seven of us, and I went with this whole family. I got home at like 9 o'clock at night because we went we went to a espresso place first, then we went to breakfast, then we went to an aperitif after breakfast, whatever that was called. Then we went to tea time, then we went to lunch, then we went to a after lunch something. These
Hmm.
were all little restaurants and little places, and then we went to an appetizer place and then a dinner, and none of us drank either. So this was just enjoying the cuisines. We're gonna do that as an adventure mastermind. It's literally gonna be a whole day of eating, like eat little,
Yeah,
it's just
yeah, small
sustain
size.
yourself. But
Yeah,
here's the scoop, and you know this, Jim, and I want to emphasize this. It's not about the location. It's not about the food, sort of. It is. It's great. It's not about any. It's about who you're surrounding yourself with and the nuggets of information that you'll get from the stories, almost like what we're doing right now.
yeah.
And that's what it's all about. So that's where the
Even
mastermind.
more than the stories, it's the point of view. It's like Nito Cobain when he's currently president of High Point University and one of the most successful people in America by every single measure known to man. Um, Nito, when he was young, I met him in 1979, and we were both aspiring motivational speakers. But he had already built a business doing training, selling training programs to youth leaders in churches.
Right.
And he said, Jim, my mom told me when I came to America, and she was still over in the Middle East, and he came to America with a handful of money and some local church contacts, and enrolled in a college there in North Carolina. He said she told me walk hand in hand and side by side with people who are great. And he said today, and back then he said this many, many decades later, still says the same thing. He says, my best friends are people I aspire to be like.
Hmm.
He said, when I was in my 20s as a young businessman, I was hanging out with people in their 60s who were established business leaders. I wasn't partying with my buddies. I was hanging out with people that inspired me. And now, years later, 1986, I was invited to join the premier speaker mastermind group, Speakers Roundtable. At the time, we called it Speakers Associates. And it goes back to before the National Speakers Association, all the way back to about 1960. And so I was invited to be one of the 20 people in that organization, and I was for 29 years. And in that were Cavett Robert, founder of the National Speakers Association, Jim Tunney, NFL referee, Patricia Fripp, it's big name people. And we invited Nito to join, and invited Tony Alessandra and others along the way over the years. But what I got out of that was the point of view. When you've got a speaker in his late 80s or early 90s, and he's still getting up in front of the group and practicing his stories for feedback. When you've got a speaker who's in their 40s and they've established a beautiful pipeline for money and in doing research for people, but they want to work on their keynote stories,
Right.
you start seeing these different points of view and you go, oh my gosh, man, I got to stretch the files.
Mm.
I'm taking in more than I can think about it, my old point of view.
Mm. I love
So
it.
that's the mentorship. Yeah. So people, the entry level for people with you on masterminds is like 250 a month. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get them in for something inexpensive like that, 250 a
Cool.
month.
And then what are your other category? That's one of three.
Yeah. So that's one of three. The other ones are Speaker Hearts, and the other one's Integrity Publishing. So Speaker Hearts, I'll tell you about that if you'd like.
Sure.
That's it's part of my Habitude Warrior conferences. As you know, I started, well, I started working in this industry 27 years ago. My anniversary was January 5th, 27 years ago, which is actually ironically Brian Tracy's birthday, January 5th.
Wow.
And I started working with him when I was 20 in my 20s, and became a senior trainer and so forth. And
Mhm.
then I ended up meeting you because we had a scheduling conflict with one of our speakers, and someone recommended you to us. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And I was so nervous. I think I hung up on the phone with you once, and I think I threw up right after I talked to you. Anyway, I was so nervous. But
That was for the Houston event
yeah, that was Houston. That's right. You flew to
there.
Houston.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so let's see. So the Habitude Warrior conferences, ever since we ended up having the pandemic. Can you believe the pandemic was 5 years ago? That's
Yeah.
crazy. So we switched gears, and instead of doing the live events the way we were doing them before, we switched it around, almost like a TED Talk style,
Yeah.
where we bring in our speakers, but it's Speaker Hearts, which has three components. Everything has threes in my life.
Good.
So three components. And the components that the Speaker Hearts has is, the first component is a 13 week long module. Like it's 13 different programs that I teach people what I've done to grow my speaker business,
Yeah.
which is awesome. And it's on a video, and they can train themselves through those video courses. So that's the first module. The second module of Speaker Hearts is the speaker flies in, and it's of course a pay to play model.
Yeah.
So they come in, and we don't take anyone. We want a speaker that's coming from the heart to share with their story with the world. And we put them on stage. It's a studio audience, and we record it, we videotape it professionally, and then we broadcast it out. And we sprinkle in some amazing top name celebrity speakers that I'm friends with, like yourself and Nito Cobain and
Yep.
you name it, Brian Tracy, Les Brown, all these different amazing individuals. So we sprinkle them in depending on which city it is, and we broadcast that to the world as well after the actual event. So it's a fantastic event. It's a 2 day event. Day one is all masterminding, and day two is we walk from the mastermind room around it's kind of cool. Don't tell anyone, but we literally, let's say this room right here, this is split in half, and one side is the mastermind side of the ballroom, and then we have the air wall that separates, right? Nobody knows this on day one,
Oh,
but the air wall, my whole team is setting up the other side. Okay, so it's the whole stage. You know how I do my stages, and it's all really cool, and the lighting and everything, and the chairs. But we don't put all the chairs until we open up that door, and it opens up for the rest of the room. So
oh,
basically, they were in the whole room the whole time. They just didn't realize
yeah.
it. So we go over there, and we teach them towards the end of the day on day one. We teach them, where the stage is, and how to work the audience, how to really present the right way. And it's so much fun. And then day two, they perform on stage, and
And you
some
video
people do
not everything.
speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, we video everything exactly. And it's funny you bring that up, because I was just looking through. I'm sitting at one of my desks in my house in Utah, and I was looking through some older files, and I found a bunch of these things. I save a lot of things. A note from my ex pre-fiance. Anyway,
Mhm.
a note from my parents. And then I found a old CD that Brian Tracy gave me. Look at this thing.
The sign
Brian
of
Tracy.
positive focus. Yep.
Yeah, and look how he literally handed this to me. He goes, "Here, train this, and let's sell this later." I go, "Great." So this is 20 years ago, okay? And look what was right next to it. Volume 1, Volume 2, Jim Cathcart, a CD that you gave me back in, what
Oh,
is that,
no.
21? No,
Wow.
oh 09. Oh 09. It was 2000. And I've got one from Dennis Waitley as well. I've
Mhm.
got Dennis Waitley. He goes, "Eric, I'm going to give this to you. Don't ever show it on anywhere. Don't give it away. Don't just keep it and privately keep it." I'm like, "All right." So here it is. Isn't that kind of cool? Oh, the reason why I bring this up. I think I still need to file this somewhere. This is just, this is years ago. This is video footage.
To upload.
It's on the little drives right there. I have every single footage
I
everywhere
got
in
a
this.
drawer full of that kind of stuff too.
Oh
And
gosh,
it
it's
would
so
take forever to
nostalgic.
just find out what's on everything.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. But the thing is, a lot of people don't realize that some of the best things literally happen on napkins
Yeah.
on a American, no, Southwest airline flight. This was.
Yeah.
I mean, I have notes to myself, and this is how I've built some of my top three things. That here's these are just notes that I've actually created. And again, remember when it goes back to the person that says, "Oh, you're just so loosey goosey, and you're just fly by the seat of the pants." Am I though? There you go. Yeah, wow.
This goes back to the 1970s.
Hold that up. Let's hold them
Yeah.
up. That's amazing. What I was looking for, I think it's down. It might be right here. If I can find it quickly, I'll show it to you.
Hang on a sec.
I
You got to see this. Cavett Robert, his wife Trudy, Paula Cathcart, and me at a speakers
right.
roundtable meeting
That's beautiful.
long,
Wow.
long ago.
That's a keeper. That is beautiful. I love it. Let's see here. Oh wow, look at that. That's great too.
I love that picture.
So there's I don't want to go off camera. So there was a in my other drawer over here. Oh, by the way, here's one of our speaker hearts emblems.
Nice.
Um I have in a wallet. Okay, so I used to be, I don't know what I was thinking. But back in the day I would travel a lot. I'd buy lots of cars and lots of cool, watches and
Oh,
wallets. I had the Dunhill wallets and the
Yep.
what's it called, the Rolexes, and I still have all the. Oh, if you're gonna go off camera, I'll go grab something. So I was gonna say, like, I used to have all these things, and now I realize, I mean, I don't need any of that stuff. I just like, I just need my Garmin to track my workouts, and I've got this bracelet, which, is the most expensive bracelet I've ever worn.
You got
It's, you
this.
got this. That's it. It's just a rubber band, and it's an attitude bracelet, because if I'm in a
Mhm.
bad attitude, I snap myself out of it. So here's the point. I have a wallet that I don't use wallets anymore. And I have this wallet that's in my other room over here in my office, part of my office. And inside the wallet, I have a business card that says Jim Cathcart. And on the back, it says, to anyone who it may concern at NSA, please accept Erik Swanson as a speaker. He has my referral. I literally have that. I could show it to you, and I could
Wow.
show it to you if you want me to. I'm going to go off camera for a second.
Okay.
Talk to the audience. I'll be right back.
So you can see by all of Eric's sharing that this is a guy who's gotten really intentional about building a career, but he's put at the center of the intentionality having a blast, having a lot of fun doing it. So he's got a whole pipeline of his mentor programs, and that's one of his three main pipelines of revenue and activity. And he's got three types of mentor programs in it, and he's experimenting with more. Okay. Then he's got another one, which is Speaker Hearts, and that's about training speakers who really care, are sincere, and are committed to doing well in their speaking career. And I imagine the third one that we haven't yet had him say is the publishing, and that is where he takes books like The 13 Steps to Riches and creates co-authorship opportunities for people. So you can subscribe to be in the book, or you can, like me, he asked me to co-author the book with him and be the featured guy on this topic. So I wrote the signature chapter of this one on auto suggestion. And he's got all these other featured authors. And then in the book, from chapter to chapter, are the folks who have pay to play. They paid to be in the book, but they've contributed a chapter, and then they get the book at wholesale so that they can have their own book and they can sell it. And they can also validate the fact that they have co-authored a book with Erik Swanson or Jim Cathcart in this case. And so that anthology model is a proven model. And Erik, I think, has taken that to a new level beyond what most people have, because he'll take a theme like Dale Carnegie or Think and Grow Rich Napoleon Hill or one of these others, like one is David and Goliath, and he'll break that into parts and they'll do a separate book, as you can see. This is the book of mentors. On each one of those parts, Wayne Dyer, Bob Proctor, and Zig Ziglar. Wow.
Mhm. And then I put in, like you just mentioned,
Yeah.
we sprinkle in the famous individuals. There's Brian Tracy co-writing with us, and
Yeah.
here's everybody, and you're in here as well. It's just awesome.
I
It's
love
so
that.
cool.
I totally love that.
Hopefully, I found the box where I have. So I keep all these things in certain boxes. It's kind of
Yep.
funny, and it may be in this home. It might be in my home in Scottsdale. So I don't want to waste your time, but I don't think it's in this box.
Let's focus on CPE. Certified Professional Expert is a person who is building a business around their specific expertise. Okay. So, like I
Yeah,
said earlier, that's coaches and consultants and advisors and podcasters and authors and speakers. And it's all the people that are your natural market. And of course,
right,
they're my natural market as well. And where I don't compete with you is that I'm not doing the number of events or the number of special projects that you're doing, nor am I offering my mentorship in the same way. Mine's much more intimate and personal to each one of the people that signs up with me. So
right,
my marketing line is come with me and let's discover how much more successful you can be.
right.
And so I
And
start.
we also don't compete on our looks, because Both of
That's
us,
true because
both of us clearly know. Let's do a Seinfeld here. Both of us clearly know who's better looking, right?
absolutely. Yeah. Tom Cruise and
But at that,
Clark Gable don't compete with each other. I want to do a screen share. I want to show you something. Okay.
Sure.
Look at this.
Yeah, there you
That is
go.
a photo from the Professional Experts Summit in La Jolla, California last May. And
Right.
right in the center of it, of course, is Erik Swanson standing above seated Brian Tracy and his wife Barbara. And we've got everyone wearing their medallions showing that they're a newly acknowledged certified professional expert.
Yes.
That's
And that was a very special day. That was a very special it's extremely special. If anyone's look, I'll just do a plug for you here, Jim, for those listening, you know. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, let's record this one. Oh, we are. If first of all, it takes you can't just call up Jim and say, "Hey, can I be one?" It takes a lot of vetting, a lot of he doesn't just pick anyone, which is it's such an honor. Like I can't believe I'm sitting with those individuals, you know. But if you're an expert in your field and you the thing is, it's interesting, Jim. Most experts in the field don't consider themselves expert in their field because they're constantly learning and they would humbly never say that they're an expert in the field. But you know who you are. If you've been in your field for X amount of years, you've got a lot of expertise, let's put it that way. Reach out to Jim and find out how you can apply for this because it's fantastic, especially, just the acknowledgement of what you're doing to change people's lives. It's powerful, and
And
it
all
really
they
helps.
have to do is go to cathcart.com.
Oh, there you go.
Seriously, that's like 30 pages of content in there and videos and things they can watch for free. But
Yeah,
it starts on the opening page with me looking at the camera saying, "Are you an expert?"
right.
There's a video that they can watch that gets into more of a description of it. But yeah, seriously, if
Purpose.
someone's
Yeah,
at a point in their career, and this is not for beginners, but it's nor is it for people that are unreachable. If you're at a point where others are willing to pay you for your expertise, then you ought to take a look at the certified professional expert designation because it's a pretty doggone prestigious group right now. And it's growing, year by year, and it's going to take on a great deal more weight. So it would be really fun to be able to claim for the rest of your career. I was one of the first, say, 30 that got it because there are five
yeah.
of those positions currently open, and in March that might be gone. Yeah.
It's amazing. It's such a great experience and great designation so that you can really it's what you're doing also, Jim, is you're allowing the experts to truly know that they are experts so that they can wear that badge with honor
Mhm.
and treat the world as you should in your expertise,
Exactly.
you
By the
know.
way, there's another thing that I want to praise about you, and that is that, like me, when you mentor somebody, they get plenty of face time with you. There's a lot of our colleagues that have big mentorship programs or the coaching programs, and you pay to get from level one, two, three, four through 5,000, and they keep saying, "Oh, you wanted that. Well, you need to upgrade to the XYZ level." But you never get time with them. They don't
Yeah,
ever take their focus off what else they're doing and go search out your website and listen to you and really read into uh, what you're doing to help you improve. They're
right.
mostly imparting wisdom, which is fine. I still recommend you buy the books, Think and Grow Rich, How to Win Friends, all the classic books, because that does teach you something you ought to know. But don't expect Dale Carnegie to call up and say, "Hey, I want to spend a little time getting to know you."
Right. It's true. Yeah, it's so true. And, it's just being hands-on, being hands-on. And
And being
I had
accessible.
Accessible, exactly. Yeah,
You're easy to reach. I'm easy to reach. A lot of our colleagues are not by
that's
choice.
right.
Yeah, and that's okay.
And I love what you said about the add-on. Of course, there's going to be some add-ons here and there, but I don't like the little thing where people, they get you in and then you got to add on this and add on that and it's like
Before you
500,000
start
add-on.
having fun. Yeah,
Yeah. A,
yeah.
fr a new client of ours just 3 days ago or 4 days ago got on the phone with me after getting an appointment through our team, and we brought him into he's doing a speech at our events coming up. He's doing a two or three of our book collaborations coming up. Oh, by the way, we have two books coming up: the Book of Frequency and the Book of Survival to Thrival.
Ooh,
Oh,
good.
I'm so excited about both these. So long story short, he comes in and he goes, "All right, I'm in." But just be honest, level with me, be honest. Like after I sign it and I pay the thing and so forth, what's the upsell? What are you gonna call me for and you can upsell me? He literally asked me this. He was from Canada and great guy. And this is 4 days ago. And I said, all right, you know what? I'm gonna give you exactly friend to friend. I'll be super honest with you. Do you have a piece of paper? And he said, yeah. I go, grab a piece of paper, grab a pen. And I literally told him what the upsell was. And I had him write it down. In fact, I'll have you write it down too. I said, write down um, tacos or sushi for Erik. Okay, so I want you to buy or DoorDash gift card. Just send me some food. That's the upsell. That's literally it. And he started laughing, and it's so true. Like I don't like upselling that much at all. I mean, of course there's gonna be a step process of different things that you can add on, but we don't. I'm not there to add on. And I have a saying in my whole team has this saying now in my company. I don't care about the money. I care about you as a human being. I care about the growth of the community.
Yeah,
So the money will come as long as you're growing the community and growing the world in a great way. And that's what CPE is all about, right?
that's
That's
well
what you
said. And it's something that I say often is that money is to a business as blood is to a body. Blood's essential to stay alive, and it has to circulate. It can't just sit still.
right,
Money's essential for a business to stay alive, and it has to circulate. It can't just sit still. And money's not the reason for the business, blood's not the reason for the body, but it's essential to its existence. So, what's the reason for the business? To make life better for the people it touches. What's the
right.
reason for the life? To live as fully as you can to make life better for everybody else that you possibly can. And
That's right.
come with me and let's discover how much more successful you can be. There you
Love it.
go. Well,
Love it.
Erik, this has been wonderful. How do people contact you?
It has been great. Are we going to start the recording? Are we going to start this interview? Oh, we already did. Just kidding, guys. I got you, Jim.
Yes, you did.
Uh, how do people contact me? You can easily go to speakererikswanson.com. And
Speaker,
I spell
Erik
it with a
Swanson.
K, Erik. Yeah,
Erik. Yeah, that's an important distinction. Super
yeah.
good. Well,
Yeah,
thank you, Habitude Warrior. I appreciate you, and I admire the good you're bringing to the world. Thank you.
thank you, sir. I appreciate you, and I appreciate. Look at this. Oh, got to kiss this. You're in this book. I love this. This is amazing. So there you go. Yeah.
Got it.
Thank you, Jim.
Take
Appreciate
care,
you.
my friend.
Thank you, sir.
See ya.